You are sitting on a crumbling concrete riser. Behind you, a thick fog rolls between burnt-out trees and back across a black ocean. It is not yet twilight. During a fall, the days are forever getting shorter. In front of you, concrete trucks are moving. This is a place of industry, man making it happen, preparing to pave and plunder every inch of living earth. Although you cannot ignore or forget them, this midground of men and their trucks is muted, obscured by a thin cloud of dust. In the distance, beyond the factory, unseen, the tires of a vehicle squeal unnaturally loud. A horn honks, glass breaks, there is screaming, an emergency siren sounds. It is met by other sirens. The sounds get louder and travel toward you as if carried by a strong gale. As the sound passes you by, the concrete beneath you shifts. Silence. Stillness. Except for the muted men and their trucks engulfed in a dusting of dirt, continuing to work. An intensity of light on the horizon past the factory catches your eye, or perhaps it's the thick plumes of black smoke that are tunneling into the sky that draw your attention. There is a building there in the distance, and it is on fire. It continues to burn, flames licking the sky. 8 men in charcoal gray business suits appear on top of a long, low building, the highest of 3 long, low buildings behind the concrete-thinking ocean water tower. The men enter your vista from your right. They are traveling toward the water tower. They pull an industrial pipe many times their size behind them, laying it the entire distance of the building as they go. As they pass in front of the burning building, a black liquid begins to seep out of the top of the concrete-thinking water tower. It oozes over the sides, covering the words, "For a sustainable future." The men continue hauling pipe, gesticulating and jockeying for the lead as they go, even though they are working cooperatively with a common goal. As they cross behind the tower, now dripping with black sludge that keeps slowly pumping, the Canadian flag next to the tower lowers. It reappears on the bottom front face of the tall rectangular building to the left of the pole it was hanging on. It ascends the tall rectangular building, followed by all the other flags of the G8 countries via the piping that runs vertically along the left side of the building. A light breeze whistles industriously, giving a gentle ripple to the flags as they lift upward. A dense and dark shadow on the roof of the building disentangles to reveal a group of riot cops dressed head to toe in thick black uniforms with ventilation masks, shields, and truncheons. They part way for a number of women in bright dresses with long hair and dark skin. The women collect the flags and fold them neatly while the riot cops beat their shields in unison. When all the flags are collected, the riot squad engulfs the women, still beating their shields. Flames break through the lower window of the building, then through the top window, sending tendrils of black smoke crawling upward toward the roof. Sparks start igniting. Fire shoots out of the pipes rising from the top of the building. The riot cops move off to the left of the roof and onto the metal-piped arm that slopes down on an angle to the left. They hold the women back with their shields as the sparking and firing on the roof intensifies. Crashing can be heard from within the building. One of the women can be seen jumping off the roof before the top is completely engulfed by an angry eruption of flame and black smoke. The riot cops turn and march quickly, single file, down the sloping metal-piped arm, disappearing immediately before the metal arm collapses with a loud crash. There is the sound of metal banging against metal, and a large white cart on top of the first of 6 concrete silos begins to move forward. It starts slow and picks up speed alarmingly fast. It slams into the gate on the metal grid that extends just beyond the 6th silo. The contents of the cart spill out and gold-colored confetti is vomited forth. The high-rises off to the left of the silos flash with neon lights. Gold and silver confetti shoots out of the tops of each of the buildings in random order. Horns start honking from the vicinity of the neon buildings, and there are calls of happy, 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 happy. The sounds of reveling subside. revealing the sound of a lone paper party horn coming from behind the concrete blocks near the yellow staircase. A young man with dark skin wearing tattered pants, no shoes, and a too small sweater rolls a red carpet along the yellow staircase toward the factory as the party horn continues to blow. He disappears out of sight and returns carrying on his shoulders a woman wearing a decadent and bejeweled sleeveless gown. Her face is pulled frighteningly taut, her skin is as porcelain, her hair is blonde, and her teeth are shockingly white even though she is smoking a cigarette and drinking red wine. The young man is shaking under her weight, although the woman is practically skin and bones herself, but for her unnaturally round and perky breasts. Tied to the woman's wrist is a leash that affixes to a young brunette girl's neck. The girl has not yet reached puberty. She is wearing a satin strapless graduation gown and bright red lipstick. Her hair is in pigtails. The young girl follows the duo with a stapler. At the top of each staircase, the young man kneels and the bejeweled woman holds her hands up and out to her sides. We see that the skin under her arms is sagging. The young girl folds the flaps of skin under and staples them into place. Each time this happens, the paper party horn blows. Just before the group begins a final descent down the stairs, the wooden door to your right opens. A very large man is standing there wearing a perfectly tailored tuxedo with gravy stains down the front. He is eating a large leg of lamb.
Darling,
says the woman.
darling,
Says the man. It is clear that they cannot stand each other. A man dressed in a butler uniform steps forward from between the concrete blocks and stands in front of the little black staircase in front of you. He cracks a bottle of champagne. The cork pops and flies into the air, landing in the hole in the circular cement well down front. The bejeweled woman, the tuxedoed man, and the butler laugh loudly. The butler stops laughing first. Everyone exits. The yellow metal jack protruding from the foreground begins to pump. It pumps faster and faster. Black ooze starts to seep out of the cracks in the concrete blocks where they rest beside and upon each other. The black ooze spreads to cover the ground. The sound of a clock winding up is heard, and a metal cuckoo bird on springs smashes through the sloping glass roof off the building just to your right. It sounds several times, and then there is utter silence. Muted fires rage in the background. Tar continues to seep and drip and pool. And in the mid-ground, the men and their trucks through a haze of dust continue to move to the rhythm of a workaday world.